Baby, I wasn't planning on it. I swear I didn't walk into that room thinking I was going to say your name out loud. But something happened this Thursday. Something inside me cracked, and I couldn't keep hiding it anymore. I've been holding you in my chest like a sacred secret for too long, protecting your memory like it was the last pure thing I had. But this week, they cornered me. They saw it on my face. My mother, my brother, even my cousin. Every single one of them asked me why I've been so distant, so silent, like I'm always somewhere else. And I couldn't lie anymore. Baby, I exposed everything. I told them about you, about what we had, about what you did, about how I still feel. I thought I'd regret it, but the moment your name left my lips, I felt like I could finally breathe again. They asked why I never brought you home, why I spoke your name like a prayer under my breath, but never let anyone meet you. And for the first time, I told the truth. I said it was because what I had with you was real, and I wasn't ready for anyone to ruin it. I said that you were different, that you weren't some girl I was passing time with. I told them how you looked at me like I mattered, how you made me feel like even my worst parts could still be loved. I told them how you made me believe in softness again, and how I destroyed it, trying to be strong. I even admitted that I blamed you for walking away, when deep down, I knew it was me who started shutting doors before you ever had the chance to open them. They were shocked. My mom didn't say a word for a full minute. My cousin looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time, and my brother, he just shook his head and said, "Man, why didn't you just fight for her?" And baby, when he said that, I lost it. I had to step outside. I walked out onto the balcony just to breathe, just to stop my heart from breaking all over again. Because I should have fought for you. I should have stood in front of the world and said, "This is her. This is the one I prayed for when I was broken. This is the woman who taught me how to feel again." But instead, I let my pride speak louder than my love. I let fear of judgment outweigh the truth of my own heart. And now, the truth is out. They know. They all know. And you know what, baby? I don't even care if they judge me anymore. Because for the first time in months, I feel honest. I feel real. But here's the part that hurts the most. I told them what you did. Not in anger, not to shame you, but because I needed them to understand why it still haunts me. I told them about the message you sent, the one I never replied to. I told them how you reached out, how you tried to explain, how I ignored it because I didn't want to admit I was still in love with you. I told them how I threw my phone across the room that night, not because of what you said, but because I knew I'd never stop hoping you to say more. I told them how you tried to love me the right way, but I wasn't ready to receive it. And I told them how I pushed you away with silence and pride, thinking I was protecting myself, when all I did was destroy the only real thing I ever had. They didn't defend me. They didn't say it's okay. They just listened. And for once, I didn't feel like the victim. I felt like the man who made a mistake and finally had the courage to admit it. Baby, I don't know what you're doing right now. I don't know if you still think of me, but if you feel something in your chest, if your heart feels heavy today for no reason, it's because your name was spoken with so much emotion, so much truth. It echoed. It echoed across a room full of people who didn't know what you meant to me, who didn't know that behind every quiet smile I gave them was the memory of your laugh. Behind every polite nod was the ache of wanting to hold you one more time. This Thursday changed everything, not because something external happened, but because I finally allowed myself to speak the truth I've been burying for months. I stopped pretending. I stopped performing. I stopped acting like I've moved on, when the reality is, I've been stuck. Stuck in the last moment I saw you. Stuck in the last word you said. Stuck in the echo of your footsteps walking away from a man who didn't know how to keep you safe. And baby, I've tried. God knows I've tried to erase you. I went on with life. I showed up to dinners. I answered texts. I even laughed sometimes. But nothing felt real. Nothing felt whole. Because you weren't there. And now the people I call family know it too. They see it in me. They feel it when I speak. They understand that I didn't just lose a girlfriend. I lost something sacred. I lost the woman who saw past my coldness, past my silence, past the version of me that even I couldn't love. And you, God, you still looked at me like I was worthy. Do you know what that does to a man? To be seen like that, to be loved like that, and to know you let it go? Baby, this is me saying I'm sorry, not for telling them, but for not telling you sooner, for letting months go by when I could have looked you in the eye and said, you mattered, when I could have dropped the ego, dropped the act and just said, come home. And now I live with the echo. But today, this Thursday, something shifted. Maybe because my soul couldn't carry it anymore. Maybe because the truth has a way of rising, even when you try to drown it. Or maybe, just maybe, it's because you were meant to hear this somehow, somewhere, even like this, through the wind, through a message, through the ache in your chest that won't quite go away. Baby, I exposed you not to hurt you, and because hiding you was hurting me. And baby, as I sat alone after the conversation ended, I realized something I had been too scared to face until now. I didn't just tell them about you. I finally told myself the truth, that I was never over you. That no matter who came into my life, no matter how much time passed, or how many distractions I wrapped myself in, you were the one my soul kept orbiting. Like gravity, like breath, like something sacred that refused to be erased. I've tried to rewrite the story, tried to convince myself that what we had was just a chapter. But that's the lie I told to make the silence feel easier. That's the lie I repeated so I didn't have to admit how deep your roots ran in me. But this Thursday, when I said your name out loud, something inside me broke. And maybe for the first time, that break felt like healing. Because I wasn't just exposing you to them, I was exposing myself. My regrets, my truth, my mistakes, my heart. And for once, I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't scared of how they'd react. I just knew I couldn't keep pretending that you didn't shape me in ways no one else ever could. I told them you were the reason I started believing in softness again. That you were the voice that lived in my head when I wanted to give up. That even when you were silent, I felt your presence in places I didn't even know I had room for someone. Do you understand what that means? That you became the quiet in my chaos. that when the world was loud, your memory was the only thing that felt like peace. I never told you that. I never told you how many times I almost reached for my phone just to hear your voice. How many nights I opened our old conversations and just stared, praying for a sign that you hadn't let go completely. But I never pressed send. I let my fears speak louder than my love, over and over again. And baby, I paid the price, not with punishment, but with emptiness, an ache that no one else could fill, a silence that no voice could soften. And now, after Thursday, they see it too. My mother looked at me differently, as if she could see something I'd been hiding for far too long. She didn't say much. She never does when something truly matters. But her eyes were wet, and when she touched my shoulder and said, "Maybe it's time you stop punishing yourself," I almost broke, because she was right. I've been punishing myself for what I did, for how I failed you, for how I didn't fight hard enough when it mattered. But mostly, I've been punishing myself for letting you think you didn't matter. You mattered. More than anyone. More than anything. I told them about the look on your face that last night. How your eyes didn't hold anger, only disappointment. Like you wanted to believe in me, but I gave you nothing to hold on to. Like you waited for the version of me I promised, but never delivered. I still see that look in my dreams. And now they do too. Now they understand why I don't talk much anymore. Why I keep to myself. Why I haven't brought anyone else home. Because no one else is home. You were. You still are. I don't know what you'll think if this reaches you. I don't even know if you want to hear any of this. But I need you to know, this wasn't some dramatic outburst. It wasn't me being emotional for a moment. This was a release, a confession, a slow unraveling of a truth I've been suffocating under. And baby, when it came out, it didn't feel like shame. It felt like freedom. Like maybe now, something inside me can start to breathe again. I've lived in the prison of silence for too long. I've watched memories of you pass me like ghosts. I've replayed that one call we had 1,000 times. Your laugh, your pauses, your quiet pain when I didn't say what you needed me to say. And now, I'm done holding back. I'm done pretending I don't still feel it. I'm done lying to myself that I moved on, when my soul has been rooted in you the whole time. So yes, this Thursday, I exposed everything. I told the truth. I let it all out. And now that it's out, I don't want to put it back in. I don't want to go back to silence. I don't want to go back to pretending. And most of all, I don't want to go back to a life that doesn't have you in it. Not even just romantically. I just want you. As you are. As a soul. As a memory. As a presence. As truth. Because you were never just a chapter. You were the turning point. The plot twist. The page that made the whole story matter. And baby, after everything spilled out, I sat in silence. Not because I had nothing left to say, but because the weight of all those unspoken truths finally left my chest. My family didn't know what to say at first. They just watched me. They watched the boy who had mastered hiding every emotion, now crumble under the one truth he could no longer outrun. You. And I think for the first time, they didn't see me as the strong one. They didn't see the version of me who had it all together. They saw the man who lost the love of his life and was still trying to breathe through it. They saw the man who had buried his feelings so deep, even he forgot where he hid them. Until now. Until this Thursday. You see, I wasn't just telling them about you. I was finally telling me about you. I was saying the things I should have said when we still had time. I told them you were the first person who ever saw me fully. That you saw the broken, the scared, the defensive, the uncertain. And instead of running, you stayed. You loved me anyway. Even when I didn't know how to accept it. Even when I didn't know how to give it back the right way. I told them you were the first time my soul felt safe. And baby, that's not something you can fake. That's not something you can forget. They asked me why I waited so long to speak about you, and I didn't know how to explain it. Because how do you explain that you were the only part of my story I wanted to keep hidden? Not because I was ashamed, but because I was afraid someone might ruin it if they got too close. I protected your name like scripture. I carried it like prayer. And now it's out. Now they know. Now everyone knows that the love I lost wasn't just love. It was you. And it hurts to admit that I'm the one who let it slip through my fingers. You were the place my heart returned to in every silent moment. And that day, when I spoke your name out loud again, something shattered and softened all at once. Baby, my voice cracked, my breath stopped, my throat tightened, because the moment I said your name, every memory we had came back like waves crashing at once. I remembered the way you used to say my name like it was your favorite word. I remembered the way your energy shifted every room. And most of all, I remembered the moment I saw your eyes look at me for the last time. Not with anger, but with surrender. That moment lives in me. And now, it lives in them too. They finally understand why I've been quiet, why I've been closed off, why I haven't let anyone in. Not truly. Because there's been no space for anyone else. Because I never cleared you out. Because your energy still lingers in every song, every street, every dream, every heartbeat. And maybe I didn't want to let it go. Maybe some part of me thought if I stayed loyal to the memory of you, then maybe, just maybe, it meant I hadn't failed completely. But I did fail. I failed you, and I failed us. And that is what I told them. But I also told them this, that I still believe in you. That I still believe in the version of us that was untouched by fear, by timing, by pride. That deep down, I believe love like this doesn't vanish. It only goes quiet. It waits. It transforms. And maybe this moment, this Thursday, was heaven's way of asking me, are you finally ready to stop running from what your soul already chose? And the answer, baby, is yes. Yes, I am. I don't know where you are right now. I don't know what you've moved on to. I don't know if you still think of me at 2 a.m. when the room gets too quiet. But I do know this. I've never stopped thinking of you. Not for one single day. And even though I was the one who let go first, I've never stopped reaching for you in the spirit. I've prayed for your peace. I've asked God to send you strength. And yes, I've hoped that maybe your heart could still feel mine, even if only in fragments. So when I told them this Thursday that I had been wrong, that I should have said more, done more, fought harder, I wasn't asking for their pity. I wasn't trying to be the victim. I was just telling the truth for the first time in a long time. And the truth is, I still love you. Not out of habit, not out of nostalgia, but because my soul never unchose you. They were shocked, not just because I said your name, but because I said it with reverence, because I said it like a prayer, because even after all this time my voice still trembled with the weight of what I lost. And now that they've seen it, now that they've heard what's been buried in me all this time, I don't feel like I'm hiding anymore. Baby, I exposed you not to shame you, but to set you free, because you deserved to be spoken about with honor, because you were never a secret. You were sacred, and maybe I'm too late to fix what I broke. Maybe this confession changes nothing in the physical, but spiritually, something has shifted, something has cracked open, and I can feel it. Something holy is trying to be born from all this pain. And since that moment, baby, I haven't been able to stop thinking about how differently things could have unfolded if I had only spoken sooner, if I had told them back then, when your name still echoed in every part of me, raw and alive. Maybe I wouldn't be sitting here, haunted by the silence I chose. Maybe I would have had the strength to fight for you properly, instead of folding into my fears. I thought I was protecting us by keeping you to myself, but in truth, I was just protecting my pride. And now I realize how cowardly that was, because real love, the kind we had, isn't meant to be hidden. It's meant to be honored, defended, spoken like truth. And this Thursday, that's exactly what I did. I told them about the way your voice calmed storms inside me that I never even named. I told them how I used to lay awake just listening to your breathing, wondering how someone like me got so close to someone so radiant. I told them that you didn't just love me, you believed in me in a way that terrified me because I didn't believe in myself back then. And now I see that you were never asking me to be perfect. You were just asking me to be present. And that's what I failed to give you. I disappeared when you needed me to stay rooted. I chose distance when I should have chosen depth. And baby, I didn't just say all this with words. I said it with tears. I said it with a voice that shook and a heart that finally surrendered. My family saw a version of me they'd never met before. The version that had finally stopped pretending he was okay. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't afraid to be broken in front of them, because this love, our love, deserved more than silence. It deserved to be spoken aloud, even if it was years too late, because it mattered. You mattered. You still do. I don't know if these words will ever reach you. I don't know if you've closed the chapter completely, or if some part of your heart still flinches when my name is mentioned. But I need you to know, this isn't just a confession, it's a resurrection. I am no longer the man who let fear speak louder than love. I've learned, I've grown, I've been stripped down to the core of who I am, and at the center of it all is still you. And maybe it's selfish of me to say that, Maybe it's unfair to bring your name into a room you didn't walk into. But baby, I couldn't carry it anymore. I couldn't keep pretending that you were just a chapter. You were the whole book, and the story hasn't ended. Not in my heart. It keeps writing itself, in dreams, in songs, in the way I pause when someone says your name too closely to how I used to. There are pieces of you in everything beautiful I see, and every time I try to move forward, the universe whispers, "Not yet, not until you tell the truth." So this was me, telling the truth, finally. They didn't interrupt me. They didn't try to give advice or make it better. They just listened. And I think that silence, their silence, was the loudest permission I've ever received. Permission to finally grieve what I never properly said goodbye to. Permission to admit that I loved you more than I've ever loved anyone, and I didn't show it the way you deserved. Permission to stop carrying the weight alone, because now it's no longer a secret. Now the air around me knows your name. And do you know what else I told them, baby? I told them that if I could go back, I'd hold your face with both hands and tell you straight into your soul, I choose you. Not just in private, not just in moments of comfort, but in the chaos, in the conflict, in front of every room that ever doubted us. I tell you I was wrong to make you feel like you had to earn love that should have been given freely. I tell you I was wrong to make you wait for clarity that should have been yours from the beginning. And most of all, I tell you that no matter how far life pulled us apart, my heart never stopped circling back to you. Because you weren't just love. You were home. And I know I can't rewrite the past. I know I can't undo the pain I caused. But what I can do, what I am doing, is honoring the truth now. I'm walking with it. I'm owning it. And if that truth ever finds its way back to you, I hope you feel it. I hope you feel how sacred you've always been to me. How even now, in the quiet, I still whisper your name. Like a prayer I'm not ready to stop praying. The truth is, baby, the day I said everything out loud, it didn't just break a silence. It broke something inside me that had been calcified for so long I forgot it was still alive. There was this cracking, this unraveling, this sacred ache that finally had room to breathe, because for years I buried it. I buried you. I buried what we had under excuses, under obligations, under fear that if I ever let the truth rise, I would drown in it. But I didn't drown. I rose. And as I rose, the fog lifted, and there you were, still the clearest light in my memory, still the echo in every choice I make. Still the one thing I measure everything else by. I wish I could explain what it felt like to speak your name after all this time. It didn't come out like anger. It didn't come out like regret. It came out like worship, like reverence, like a name that should have been spoken with gentleness from the beginning. And when I said it, when I told them I loved her, I still do. Something shifted in the room. They didn't roll their eyes. They didn't question why I still held on. They just looked at me with this quiet understanding, as if somehow they already knew, as if they had been waiting for me to stop pretending I had moved on. And in that moment I realized everyone knew except me. Everyone saw what I tried so hard to hide, that no matter how much time passed, you were still the center of my gravity, that no matter who I tried to be for others, I was only ever truly myself with you. And maybe I needed this moment more than I realized. Maybe I needed to confess to them so I could finally stop running from it myself. Because God knows I've tried. I've tried to replace the ache. I've tried to silence the memory. I've tried to start over in ways that didn't have your fingerprints all over them. But nothing worked, because no one else was you. And baby, I need to say something that may not come out perfectly, but it's real. I wasn't ready. Not when I had you. Not in the way you needed me to be. I thought love was about passion and pull and longing, but I didn't understand commitment. I didn't understand showing up, even on the days I felt unworthy. I let my silence speak when my love should have been louder, and by the time I realized what I was losing, it was already gone. You were already drifting, and I was still too proud to reach. But Thursday changed everything, because when I finally spoke, when I finally told the truth, I felt something release, a tether to guilt, a rope made of shame, a heavy chain of what-ifs and maybe one days, and in its place, there was this soft space, this possibility that maybe, just maybe, the truth had been waiting to be set free so it could reach you somehow. Maybe you felt it, maybe your soul stirred this week, and you didn't know why. Maybe that's because somewhere in the universe, my words finally found their wings, and they began traveling toward you. And if they have, if you're somehow hearing this in your heart, I hope it lands not as a wound, but as a balm. I don't want to reopen anything that was healing. I don't want to stir pain. I only want to give back what I never had the courage to offer when you deserved it most. The truth that you were not a phase, not a lesson, not a passing flame. You were the real thing. You were the home I built in my imagination when the world felt too loud. You were the safe space in the storm, and no matter how much I tried to move forward, I kept coming back to you in my mind, over and over, 1,000 versions of the same moment, wishing I had just said, stay, please stay, but you left, and I let you. I let you walk away without giving you the closure you begged for, and for that, I carry remorse. Not because I think I can go back, but because I know what it cost you to love me through my fear. And if I could hold your face now, if I could look you in the eyes one more time, I would say everything I kept in, everything I thought would make me weak. I would tell you how your absence hasn't dulled, it's only grown louder. How every room I walk into still feels off balance, without your energy there to anchor it. How your name still rises in me like a prayer I haven't stopped saying. I didn't tell them every detail, baby. Some things are still sacred. Some moments are still just for us. But I told them enough for them to understand who you were to me, who you are to me. I told them that I wasn't just mourning a breakup. I was mourning the version of me that only existed in your presence. The man who felt whole. The man who believed in miracles because he had seen one in your eyes. And maybe they didn't say it aloud, but I saw it in their faces. They saw the difference in me. They saw the part of me that still reaches for you without trying. And now even though time keeps moving, my heart has stopped pretending. I've stopped acting like this was just a season. It wasn't. It was sacred, and I honor it now with every breath. I honor it by saying your name out loud, by letting my tears fall instead of choking them back, and honor it by finally becoming the man who can carry the weight of love without breaking underneath it. You didn't break me, baby. You revealed me, and now, maybe for the first time, I'm ready to be seen. And now that the truth is out there, now that my family knows, now that the veil has lifted, I don't feel shame. I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Peace. Not because I got closure, not because the pain is gone, but because I finally stopped pretending. I stopped wearing this mask that everything was fine, that I had moved on, that your name didn't still live inside me like a soft, steady drumbeat. The weight I carried wasn't just from losing you. It was from hiding how much you meant to me. And the moment I said your name, the moment I looked them in the eye and told them the truth, it was like something holy cracked open inside me. I didn't expect their silence. I didn't expect the stillness in the room. But I think they understood that this wasn't just a confession. It was a cleansing, a shedding of the lie that I was okay. I wasn't okay. I hadn't been okay for a long time. And I think they could feel it. I think they saw it in the way my voice shook, in the way my eyes looked off to some memory they couldn't see, in the way my hands trembled like I was holding something fragile, like I was holding you again in my heart. Because that's the thing, baby. Some loves don't fade. They don't die. They transform. They dig their roots deeper until they become a part of your being. And that's what you are to me now. Not a memory, but a part of my spirit. A part I can't cut out, no matter how many doors I try to close. They asked me if I had regrets. I said yes, but not because I loved you, not because it ended. I regret not loving you better. I regret not protecting what we had with more fire. I regret choosing fear when I should have chosen faith. Because you were worth it. Every moment, every fight, every risk, you were worth fighting for. And I didn't fight the way I should have. I didn't fight the way I should have. I let you carry all the weight, and I stood frozen, hoping time would fix what only truth could. And now, the truth is all I have left. I told them that no one's ever matched your spirit. That even in a room full of people, it's your silence I miss most. That even when I tried to be with someone new, I was chasing shadows of you. No one had your laugh. No one had your eyes. No one made me feel like you did when we were alone and the world disappeared. And even now I still replay our last moments, trying to rewrite them in my head. I think that's what hurts the most. Not what happened, but what never got to happen. The words I didn't say, the promises I never made, the future we never touched. But Thursday was a beginning. Not of us, maybe, but of something honest, something healing. And as strange as it sounds, I needed them to know. I needed my family to understand that I'm not broken because of you. I'm broken because I let you go. I let my own wounds get in the way of something sacred. And the moment I said it, the moment I spoke the truth without filter, I felt your energy around me again. Not angry, not hurt, just present, as if your spirit was listening, as if somewhere you already knew. I keep wondering if you felt it too, if your heart suddenly felt lighter, if you had a dream that night where I showed up, not to hurt you again, but to whisper. I still remember everything. Because I do, baby. I remember how you held my hand like it was your favorite thing in the world. I remember how your voice got softer when I was overwhelmed. I remember the way you looked at me, like I wasn't just someone you loved, but someone you believed in. And I think that's what hurts most, that I lost the one person who believed in the parts of me even I was afraid to see. And now, every time I look in the mirror, I see two reflections. The man I was with you, and the man I became after. One filled with light, the other with lessons. And I'm trying, baby. I'm trying to become the version of me that you saw. The version you prayed for. The version who knows how to hold love without pushing it away. Because what I feel for you, it's not just love. It's reverence. It's holy. It's the kind of love that transforms a man from the inside out and leaves a scar shaped like hope. So no, I'm not ashamed anymore. I'm not afraid of what they think. I'm only afraid of one thing, that it took me too long to say what I should have said when it mattered most. And if somehow, some way, these words ever reach you, I hope you don't hear them as too late. I hope you hear them as truth, as release, as the sound of a man finally breaking free from his silence, not to win you back, but to honor what was never truly gone. Because you were never a chapter in my life. You were the ink. You were the breath between every line. And now, I'm done pretending. The world can know. My family can know. You can know. I loved you. I still do. And I'm sorry I didn't say it sooner. After I spoke those words, after I exposed the truth about you to my family, it was like something in the air shifted. The weight didn't vanish overnight, but something loosened inside my chest. For the first time in forever, I could breathe without pretending. No more hiding behind jokes, no more dodging questions about why I'd been distant. They saw it, they felt it, they finally understood, and I think a part of them realized this wasn't just a breakup. This wasn't just another name in my history. You were the storm and the stillness. You were the before and after. You were the part of my soul that never got a proper goodbye. That night, I sat alone in my room, replaying every word I said aloud about you. I couldn't sleep. My mind kept drifting back to memories I thought I had buried. Like the time you looked at me in silence, but somehow I heard everything you didn't say. Or the night I was unraveling and you held me like you were trying to keep my soul from falling apart. And I let you. I let you love me in ways I didn't even know I needed. Until you were gone. And now that my family knows what really happened, I wonder if they finally understand why I've been so different. Why I never let anyone in again. You see, baby, I didn't just lose you. I lost the version of me who believed I could be truly loved. After you, I started guarding my heart like a fortress. I dated people who felt safe only because I didn't care enough for them to hurt me. But I never let anyone see the version of me that you did. No one else has been able to reach that part of my soul. It's like you took it with you. Or maybe I buried it the day I watched you walk away, carrying pieces of me I never asked you to take, but never asked you to return either. And now here I am, finally talking about it, finally letting my family see the depth of the wound I've carried in silence. And you know what's strange? They didn't judge me. They didn't roll their eyes or say, "Move on." Instead, they got quiet. Not the kind of quiet that makes things awkward. The kind of quiet that says, "Now we understand." The kind that says, "We see you." And I needed that. I didn't even realize how badly I needed someone to see me as I truly am. Not the strong one, not the jokester, not the one who's over it, but the man who loved deeply and lost profoundly. They asked me if I still talk to you. I said no, but in my heart I whispered every day, because I do, in the smallest ways. When a song comes on and I remember how you used to hum along without realizing. When I pass a street we once walked hand in hand. When I'm about to say something and catch myself because it sounds like something you would have said. You live in the details. You live in the spaces between my thoughts. And sometimes I wonder if you feel it too. If my name still lingers in your silence, the way yours echoes in mine. I'm not saying all this to pull you back. I'm saying it to finally release the lie I've been feeding myself, that I moved on. I haven't. I've moved forward, yes, but not on. Because when you truly love someone the way I loved you, you don't get over it. You just learn to carry it more quietly. But I'm done being quiet. I'm done pretending it didn't matter. My family knows now. The world can know. You were never just a chapter in my life. You were the book I kept rereading in secret, hoping the ending would somehow change. And the truth is, I don't know if you'd even want to hear this now. I don't know if your heart still holds space for my name. But if it does, if even the tiniest part of you still wonders, then let this be the answer. Yes, I still care. I always did. I just didn't know how to show it. I didn't know how to hold something so sacred without letting my brokenness bleed into it. But I'm learning. I'm growing. I'm becoming someone who can hold love without crushing it. And I owe that to you, because loving you taught me what I didn't know I was capable of. Losing you taught me what I couldn't afford to ignore anymore. And now that everything's out in the open, I feel free, not from you, but from the silence that was slowly killing me. And maybe, just maybe, that freedom will lead me back to you someday. Or maybe it'll just lead me back to myself. Either way, I'll carry your name with reverence. Not because I can't let go, but because letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means honoring what was while still stepping forward. And that's what I'm doing now. With every breath, with every word, with every word, with every confession that I should have made long ago. Sometimes I wonder what it must have felt like on your end, when you sensed the distance, when my words stopped carrying the softness they once held, when you looked into my eyes and saw hesitation instead of home. I know you felt it. You were always so intuitive, so attuned to my shifts, even when I tried to hide them behind jokes or silence. I regret that. I regret the way I tried to downplay something so divine, like I could somehow control the fire in my chest by pretending it wasn't burning, but it was. You set something ablaze in me, and I've never truly been able to put it out. I've replayed that moment 1,000 times in my mind. The moment I told them, my family, about you, about everything. It wasn't some dramatic announcement. It wasn't even planned. It just happened. The truth tumbled out of me like it had been waiting for years. And suddenly, I wasn't talking about a breakup or a relationship. I was talking about you, about how deeply I felt you, about how much I lost the day you left. Their eyes changed. Their posture softened. And I think they saw how sacred you were to me, how broken I still was without you. And since that day, something inside me has begun to shift. I've started allowing myself to miss you fully, not just in flashes or during dreams, but with open palms and a soft heart. I've stopped pushing the feelings away. I've stopped trying to replace them. And in doing so, I've realized something I never said to you clearly enough. You were never the problem. My timing was. My fear was. My self-sabotage was. I didn't know how to accept something so good without bracing for it to leave. And that fear made me pull away before you ever had a chance to. But here's what's real, baby. I didn't want to pull away. I wanted to stay. I wanted to be the one who chose you every morning, who showed up in all the small ways that matter. I wanted to be your safe place, your stillness, your steady, but I didn't know how. No one ever taught me. By the time I realized what you needed, I was already standing outside the door of your heart, trying to find the courage to knock again. And now that everything is out in the open, now that my family knows who you were to me, I don't feel shame. I feel sorrow, but also reverence. Because what we had, it was holy. It was raw and beautiful and broken and real. And I think that's why it hurt so much to lose it. Because it wasn't GI on convenience. It was built on soul. Even now, when I sit in silence, it's your name my spirit whispers first. I see you in things I can't explain. I hear your voice in places you've never been. I swear, sometimes it feels like your energy still wraps itself around me when I'm on the edge of breaking. Maybe that's because our connection didn't end when we stopped speaking. Maybe some bonds really do stretch across time, across silence, across every mile of misunderstanding. And the truth is, I'm not reaching out to pull you back into the past. I'm writing this in the hope that, wherever you are, you know you were never unloved. You were never forgotten. You were never just a chapter in my life. You were the part I couldn't bring myself to edit, no matter how much the story moved forward, because you're the part that made me feel, the part that woke something inside me I didn't know existed. So if you've been wondering why your name still lingers in the wind, why your heart still tugs when you think of me, why you dream of conversations we never had, I hope you know now. It's not just nostalgia. It's not just memory. It's energy. It's unfinished truth. And maybe this is how it finishes, not with closure, not with answers, but with confession, because I don't want to pretend anymore. I don't want to keep pretending that I've moved on, when the truth is, every version of love I've met since you has felt like a replica. Pretty, but not sacred. Familiar, but not home. They don't know the real me. Not like you did, not like you still do. And if the universe ever realigns us, if fate ever gives us one more moment, I won't waste it. I won't let fear speak louder than love. I won't let pride win the war I was never meant to fight. I'll walk straight into your arms, not to reclaim the past, but to build a future where we both finally feel safe. Sometimes late at night, I catch myself looking into the ceiling like it's a sky I can confess to, like maybe the stars I can't see are somehow listening. That maybe you're listening. Because the truth is, baby, even though I told my family everything, even though I finally let it spill from my lips, the story I told them was only part of it. I told them what I did, how I messed it up, how I pulled away, how I made you feel unwanted without meaning to. But what I didn't tell them, what I couldn't find the courage to say, was how much I still love you, how much I still feel you, how your name is stitched into my spirit in ways I don't know how to untangle, and at this point, I don't want to. Because the hardest part isn't that you're not in my life. The hardest part is pretending you never were. Pretending that the way you looked at me didn't make me believe in something bigger. Pretending your laughter wasn't the safest sound I ever knew. Pretending that your silence now doesn't echo louder than any words ever could. And maybe my family sees it now. Maybe when I mentioned your name, they finally saw the way my voice cracked, how I looked away as if your memory still burned behind my eyes. Maybe they realized that I wasn't just talking about someone I used to love. I was talking about the person I still do. You were never just a love story for me. You were the moment my soul woke up, the moment the walls I'd built for years began to crumble just because you stood there, unafraid of my shadows. You didn't just enter my life, you saw me, all of me, and I've never been the same since. I know now why I ran. It wasn't because I didn't love you. It was because I loved you too much, and somewhere deep down, I didn't believe I was worthy of being loved back in that same way. So I distanced myself before you ever could. I tried to control the outcome by walking away, not realizing I was creating the very ending I feared. And now I sit here wondering what it would have looked like if I had just stayed, if I had just let you in, fully, without hesitation, without fear, without trying to protect myself from the very thing I prayed for. And maybe that's why I finally told them, because holding it in started to feel like lying, because every time they asked if I was okay, and I said, I'm fine, a piece of me knew I wasn't. Because fine doesn't cover the ache of missing someone who touched your soul. Fine doesn't explain the dreams where your voice comes back, soft and forgiving. Fine doesn't hold the truth of how I replay our last conversation like a movie with no ending. I told them you were the one who knew me before I knew myself, that you loved me without conditions, even when I gave you every reason not to. I told them I broke your trust and tried to act like it didn't matter, like I didn't care. But God, I cared. I cared so much I couldn't breathe. I still can't. They asked me if I think you'll ever come back, and I just looked down, smiled a little, and said, I don't know. But in my heart I whispered, God, if there's still a way, if there's still a chance, bring her back to me, not just so I can love her, but so I can finally honor her the way she deserves. Because I know now, I know I didn't just lose a partner. I lost a mirror. I lost the part of me that made me better. I lost the soft voice that made my demons quieter. I lost the only soul who made me believe that love could actually heal the wounds I stopped acknowledging. And now, in this quiet truth, I see what I couldn't see before. You were never too much. I was just too afraid. So, if this is my only chance to speak without interruption, let me say what I never said out loud. You changed me. You opened a part of me that I tried to keep buried under logic and ego and pride. You brought light into the darkest corners and taught me that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the bravest thing a man can do. You loved me through my silence, through my shutdowns, through every time I failed to show up the way you needed. And I know, baby, I know you were tired. Tired of waiting for me to catch up. Tired of loving me while I hid behind my past. Tired of wondering if I'd ever choose you out loud. I hate that I made you question yourself. I hate that I gave you reasons to doubt your worth when all you ever did was show me mine. But please believe me when I say this. I see you now. I see the sacrifices, the patience, the quiet prayers you sent up, hoping I'd finally become the man you saw buried beneath my pain. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm closer than I've ever been. And that's because of you. And if there's one thing I've realized since the day I watched you walk away, since the moment the silence between us became louder than any argument ever could, it's this. I never stopped carrying you. Not in my body, in my spirit, in my choices, in every decision I made since you left. Even when I laughed, even when I moved forward, even when I tried to let you go, you were still the voice behind my thoughts, the warmth I reached for when the nights got cold, the ache I couldn't translate into words. And no one knew, no one but God, until this Thursday, when my family saw the truth written all over my face. They say I looked different when I spoke your name, that my voice cracked, that my eyes got soft in a way they hadn't in months. And for the first time, I didn't argue. I didn't hide. I didn't deflect. I just nodded slowly and said, yeah, she was everything. And there was this pause in the room, like even they didn't know how to hold that truth. Like they realized I wasn't talking about a chapter. I was talking about the entire book. You weren't a page in my past. You were the ink, the spine, the reason I started writing my story differently. I wish I could take you back to the first moment I ever made you question your place in my life. I wish I could rewrite the words I didn't say, the reassurance I failed to give you, the way I stood in silence when you needed to hear, you are enough. Because the truth is, you were more than enough. You were the answer to questions I didn't even know my heart was asking. And instead of protecting you, I protected my fears. I let my insecurities lead, and they led me into a space where I lost the very thing that made life feel like it had color. And now, beloved, as I take this final breath of confession, I need you to know this wasn't just a message. This was a release of every word I kept locked behind pride, a release of every emotion I buried under silence, a release of the love that never died, even when I tried to forget, And if you're still here, still listening, still breathing in the weight of these words, then maybe some part of your soul knew I was speaking to you all along. I don't expect answers. I don't ask for promises, but I do ask for one thing. Just a quiet moment where your heart remembers what we had, what we felt, and what was never fully finished. If this touched you deeply, comment below. Let your voice rise out of the silence, even if it's just a simple "I felt this," because I promise you, I'll be reading, waiting, praying, and if your spirit is stirred, share this message. Maybe it reaches someone else who needed to hear that they are still loved, still missed, still held in a way they never realized. Don't forget to like this video if your heart resonated with even a single word. It helps this sacred message find other broken pieces out there. And if you feel called to walk this healing journey with me, subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and never miss another moment of truth, love, and redemption. Because this isn't the end, my love. This is where we begin again, quietly, gently, divinely. Thank you for listening with your soul. Until next time, I'm here, still healing, still hoping, still yours. Type 1111 if you felt every word like it was written just for you, because maybe it was.